JBNN keep you informed. I'm Michelle Jones. Before we get into the news, please remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and to share the news with someone today. Now onto the news. Alleged 100 Lane Don dog teeth shot and killed by police. The police fatally shot the alleged Don for the 100 Lane community of Redhill Road in St. Andrew on Friday morning. He is Shaquille Dawkins, otherwise called Dog Teeth or Triple Chain. He was reportedly killed during a confrontation with police that took place at about 8:30 a.m. A gun was reportedly seized. Acting Superintendent Randy Sweeney, commanding officer for the St. Andrew North Police Division, says sometime after 8 a.m., a police team conducted an operation at 100 Lane. Dawkins allegedly confronted the police and was shot, but his relatives have disputed the police report. A cousin said that Dawkins was shot in front of his young children and a gun planted at the scene. Robbery suspect shot and injured by police in St. Catherine. The Independent Commission of Investigations Indicom is probing the non-fatal shooting of a man during a police operation in Mount Diablo District, St. Catherine, on Friday morning. At about 4:35 a.m., police personnel reportedly went into the rural community in search of a robbery suspect. The team was reportedly challenged by the suspect and they took evasive action, during which the suspect was shot and injured. The police say they seized a Walther 9mm pistol affixed with a magazine containing 4 rounds of 9mm cartridges. The injured man was taken to hospital, where he was admitted. Man gunned down in Central Village. A 41-year-old man was shot and killed in Central Village, St. Catherine, on Thursday night. The deceased has been identified as Lodlow Johnson Jr., otherwise called Sheldon, or Grimo, unemployed, of Browns Lane, Central Village. According to reports, at about 6:45 p.m., Johnson was in Browns Lane when explosions were heard. The police were summoned, and Johnson was found with what appeared to be gunshot wounds. He was transported to the Spanish Town Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The Central Village Criminal Investigations Branch is probing the matter. Man killed, woman injured in Trenchtown gun attack. A man was shot dead and a woman injured during an attack by gunmen on 5th Street in Trenchtown, St. Andrew, on Friday morning. The deceased has been identified as 49-year-old Corey Dixon, otherwise called Corey Maxim Remo, St. Andrew. The injured woman is 44 years old. According to reports, at about 2 a.m., the man and woman were catching water and talking along the roadway when a motor vehicle approached them from the East Road direction. Residents heard explosions shortly afterwards and the motor vehicle drove away. Both ran into nearby premises where residents found Dixon suffering from what appeared to be gunshot wounds. Police records indicate that Dixon was one of 4 people shot and injured on June 15, 2024 along 6th Street in the community. During that incident, Jerome Richards, otherwise called Manasseh, the former leader of the Mexico gang, was killed. Lawmen find the body after responding to gunshot reports in Kingston. A man was found shot to death when police responded to reports of gunfire to residents on Slapin Road in Kingston on Friday morning. The man is believed to be 48-year-old Vaughn Wilson, a resident from the community. Police reported that around 1:50 a.m., they received reports that shots were being fired at the location. A response team was immediately dispatched to the area. Upon arriving, the police entered the premises, where they found the body of the now deceased lying on its back in a pool of blood in the bathroom area at the location. The body had what appeared to be multiple gunshot wounds to the forehead, the police said. The man is of dark brown complexion, slim build, oval-shaped face, about 5 feet 4 inches, sported a low-cut hairstyle, and was clad in black and white polo underpants. No motive has been established for the killing, neither have any suspects been identified. The police indicated that the location of the incident falls within a divisional hotspot, which is usually affected by ongoing gang conflict between the Upset and Superstar gangs and their respective affiliates. Kingston man shot and injured on way to work. The police are seeking a motive for Thursday's shooting of a man at the intersection of Spanish Town Road and Westmoreland Avenue in Riverton City, St. Andrew. The man, a warehouse attendant, was shot and injured by a gunman who drove up while he sat in his vehicle, the police said. Reports received indicate that around 7:58 a.m., the man was driving his Nissan AD wagon to work. Upon reaching the mentioned location, a black Subaru Impreza approached with 3 men aboard. A man in the front passenger seat pointed a gun at the now injured warehouse attendant and opened fire, hitting him in the left shoulder and grazing both legs. The complainant drove to his workplace where he sought assistance from co-workers. He was rushed to hospital where he is receiving treatment. No suspect has been identified in connection with the gun attack, the police said. Man dead, another injured following mishap at construction site. The St. Catherine North Police are investigating the death of a man and the injury of another at a construction site for housing development in Trial Heights on Tuesday. The deceased has been identified as 53-year-old Boyd Stevenson of a Riverside, St. Catherine address. Stevenson was reportedly operating a front-end loader when the mishap occurred shortly before 5 p.m. A worker said the heavy machine fell over a retaining wall, hitting a man who was sitting on the structure. The worker said he and others rushed the injured man to hospital where Stevenson died. The other man remains hospitalized.
I rushed from one part of the site to there, and some man was trying to rescue who got injured. So the first person they took out, I rushed that person to the hospital and came back. When I came back, the next person was actually on his way to the hospital and get to the hospital, and I know in the night I hear him pass out. Understand?
The other person, he was the driver?
Yeah, he was the operator. He was a machine operator.
Indicom News calls for body-worn cameras. With a total of 102 civilians being killed by the security forces between January 1 and April 24, the Independent Commission of Investigations Indicom has renewed its call for police and soldiers to be equipped with body-worn cameras when embarking on planned operations. Indicom Commissioner Hugh Faulkner on Thursday said that 21 people had been killed by the security forces in the first 24 days of April, highlighting that Indicom has not become soft in its approach to investigating cases involving the security forces. The commissioner said that charges of murder and other offences have been recommended for a number of the members of the security forces. We do investigate them. Last year we got 24 rulings for a charge by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, and of the 24, 9 were for fatal shootings. 8 involved the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and 1 involved the Jamaica Defence Force, where the officers were charged for murder. 3 of the 24, let us say that the arrests are pending, Faulkner said. In a few days' time, further rulings or charges will be announced. The protocol is that you advise the necessary parties prior to publication. That is why we said the body-worn camera can give us further information in these matters, especially for planned police operations, he said. For all of 2024, there were 189 people who were killed by the security forces. According to the Indicom Commissioner, 40% of fatalities in 2024 were from planned police operations, which were about 75 cases. It is critical that officers deployed for planned police operations be equipped with body-worn cameras, he said, adding that an important element of what Indicom does is to recommend to the DPP that charges be laid against members of the security forces who appear to be in breach of the law following investigations. People hardly focus on the charge element. They feel that fatalities is the headliner. We're an oversight body, and part of what we do is where the evidential threshold is met, then we recommend charges. But the final decision is with the DPP, who the Privy Council says must be the prosecutorial authority. Last year, roughly 2 per month were recommended by the DPP for charges. There are some for this year that will publish soon. 10 killed in Easter holiday road crashes. 10 people died on the roadways over the 4-day Easter holidays, including 5 on Easter Monday alone, in what the country's leading road safety advocate has described as a national disaster. 5 of the victims were pedestrians ages 72, 71, 69, 61 and 28, police records show. The others include 2 motorcyclists, a pedal cyclist, a private motorcar driver, and a motor vehicle passenger. Among the victims were a beloved medical doctor and a family matriarch who was heading to work as a janitor after making a last-minute decision to skip a family gathering in St. Elizabeth. The reality is that the long weekend has become a national disaster in respect of road safety, said Dr. Lucien Jones, Vice Chairman of the National Road Safety Council, NRSC. Iko Del Wright, affectionately called Miss Bev, a 71-year-old mother of 2, was struck by a minibus while walking along the roadway in Crossroads, St. Andrew, according to a police report. Private security company King Alarm has since acknowledged that the vehicle that hit Wright is part of its fleet and insisted that it was not a case of hit and run as the driver is cooperating with the police. However, the deaths of Overton Simpson, a 69-year-old farmer from Ridge District in St. Elizabeth, and Gavin Blake, 28, of Roan River District in St. Anne, have been classified as hit-and-run incidents. A total of 118 people have died in 104 fatal crashes across Jamaica between January 1 and the Thursday, a 14% decrease in fatalities when compared with the corresponding period last year, according to the latest data published by the Island Traffic Authority, ITA. The 365 people killed on Jamaica's roadways last year is the lowest in 7 years. There were 440 road deaths in 2019, 433 in 2020, 487 in 2021, 488 the following year, and 425 in 2023, the ITA data shows. A week before the Easter holidays, road deaths were down 21%, Jones noted during an interview on Thursday. We were looking for that because of the decrease we were celebrating. So this is a kind of a wake-up call. Actually, there are two wake-up calls, he said. One is to tell us that we need to be eternally vigilant, lest we get this kind of surge which can bring us back to the bad old days. The other, he said, was data just released by the Ministry of Health and Wellness, which shows that over 60% of people injured in motor vehicle crashes last year were not wearing a safety device such as seat belts or helmets in the case of motorcyclists. Women accounted for nearly 65% of those who were not wearing a safety device, he said. Jamaica will need to reduce road deaths to 212 by 2030 to achieve this goal. JBN will keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.